All right. G'day, fellas. This is going to be a new series of videos. I'm going to be doing one for every class. So this is going to be based on the Sentinel class. And these are going to be my favorite sort of leveling builds to transition into whatever build I want to use at a later level. I've had a lot of questions about what sort of builds would I use to get into like my abomination or whatever. So this is going to be just a generic build that I like to use to get to like level 70 with the Sentinel class, and this is going to be my fire spin to win build. So very low investment, something you can use from the start of the game, and you just spin and a bunch of random stuff happens on the screen. As you can see, we got some ignites going out and some smites coming down and lots of healing and divine bolts and auras. We can throw down our javelin over there and that will start casting smites and doing other stuff. I'll do a quick run through a monolith. Now, I am not showing you monoliths that are hundreds of corruption pushed. That's not the point in these builds. Okay, so we'll go into an empowered on this guy and just do a quick run just so you can see that it is fine to get you all the way up to empowered monoliths when you might want to swap to your main build. All right, so just start spinning and moving through your maps. That's all you do. You shouldn't have to ever hit a health potion or anything. Like this build will just carry quite nicely straight through everything. And if they don't die, they probably die to the ignites that you leave on them. Okay. So, I think you get the idea of that. Let's go over the build real quick. Alright. So, gear. You can use this build without any uniques. I want to clarify that. I have put a couple on here as I got into the end of the playthrough. So the Polaris sword, this is only a level 6 unique item. So if this is going to be a second character that you're going to play, just buy one of these off the auction house, or you probably picked one up along the way. They're very, very common. This will cast Smite on melee hit. It has a 40% chance to do it, and it can do it 3 times a second. Okay. For the chest piece, I just went with increased fire damage over time. Right, headpiece, we're just getting attunement and some resists. The wand is just damage over time, ignite chance. I picked up one of these rings while I was leveling, somewhere around level 40. It's just got some ignite chance on it. You can just do a normal ring, it's not needed. More damage over time, a little bit of attunement on here. We've got some fiery dragon boots that I got as a drop in the monolith, and that had 80% reduced damage from critical hits. That's why I put them on. Not needed. I actually got really lucky with this. +4 to smite Weaver's thing. So, yeah, pretty lucky on that one. Some more fire damage, damage over time, and some health and phys res. The Orion's Belt, which is a level 40 unique. This will also cast Smite maximum 6 times per 10 seconds. This is not needed. I just happened to get this while we were leveling, so may as well throw it on. Okay, and then this amulet is the Primordial Ignite Spreading Amulet. You can get this just by doing the Primordial event as you're leveling. Collect the materials needed and purchase it from the vendor. Idols, nothing really to go over. I've just thrown on random survivability stuff. Nothing crazy, and I've put on one of these that I found along the way that has a up to a 25% chance to cast Smite when you hit with a throwing attack. Okay, so that's that. Let's go over the passive points. Passive points, just going into the Fire Res Void node, the Vitality Health Regen node, into armor and damage taken, taking one in gladiator so we can put a sword in our offhand, And then I put 2 points in here, chance to cast Axe Throw on hit. This is just so that I can trigger that idol that's in my bag. You don't need this. If you don't have the idol, don't bother putting points in it. And you only need 1 point in this. I don't know why I put 2 points in. Okay, moving over to here. To start off, we can just grab all the conviction, 8 points. Grab 8 points into the attunement, elemental res. Endurance per uncapped elemental res. 4 points into Divine Bolt. Chance to cast Divine Bolt on melee hit. Okay. And with 3 points invested, it's additional Divine Bolts +1. Then we can get a couple of points into here. Shared Divinity. If you put 4 points into it, you'll get 1 additional Divine Bolt. Okay. We've got some Ignite chance here. I'm actually starting to put points in here now. And then I'll probably come up here and get some Fire Shred. We get a couple of points into the healing effectiveness. 1 point into Faith Armor so that we're able to move on up here to grab the 5-point endurance threshold per 2 attunement is +7. We do want to just throw attunement on everything in order to scale our smite damage, so this is just a nice defensive layer to have on top. We've got 10 points into attunement here, once again for more damage with smite. Increased crit chance, crit multi, and base crit chance. We'll probably put more points into here. This is just a nice node. It's got a bit of everything. Increase Holy Aura effect. We'll probably put more points in here eventually if we keep playing it. More points into attunement. Attunement's always a good one to grab. 7 points into here for more damage with fire and some move speed. And then we'll probably get a couple of points in here. And that's all you need. Very simple. For the skills, I'll sort of go over the order of like what I do as I'm leveling. So for leveling, the first thing you want to do is come down, grab 2 points into Warpath cost reduction, and then 1 point into Reckless Spin. This pretty much removes the cost of Warpath and allows you to spin infinitely. Okay, so I like to grab that first, and then as soon as we've grabbed that, we just 1 point into Quicksilver, 1 point into Gorebringer, 1 point into Earth Scorcher, 2 points into Path of Heavens, and then we max out Winds of Justice. This is when you start getting your first automatic smites landing from the sky. Okay? Then you can fill in the rest of these as you level up the way I've been putting them in. Now, moving on from here, so we've got this skill spec'd out, and we now have Smite being cast every second while we spin. So let's move over to Smite. Now for Smite, I like to come down and grab the Sacrifice Health node. This is a big damage multiplier. There should be 1 more point in here. I think I misclicked when I was changing gear. So I would take 1 out of the crit multi and put that in here. Make sure this is capped at 5. And then you want to make sure this is either at 4 or 5 as well, because when you take this node, every time you cast Smite, it's going to hurt you, and this will stop it from hurting you. Then we come over here and we grab Ignite Chance, just 2 points in there at the start. Then 2 points in here to get the Spreading Flame chance. And then 5 points in here so that enemies explode when they get killed by Smite. This feels really comfortable. So get that spec'd out and you'll be laughing. Next, we will go into Holy Symbol. The first thing I like to do in Holy Symbol is to just put in the bare minimum points to get to the maximum symbol nodes. So get to Tetragram first, then get to Polygram, then work on these nodes, okay? So we're going to finish up by finishing Empowered Symbol and Heavenly Justice. Okay? Moving on to Holy Aura. Holy Aura is a great little passive. We come up here, we get more Ignite Chance, we get increased global fire damage, we get Flame Burst with improved Flame Burst, and 2 points into Rise Fury for the penetration. Then you can come down here and mainly want it for the increased crit chance and the crit multi. These are pretty big damage increases. As for Javelin, I've just sort of gone down here for the smite. You could start going into like ignites and stuff, but at this point, my build is like I'm at the point where I'm ready to swap this build over to a main skill. So I probably won't continue from here. I'll be changing this build over to a new build. All right. And I think that's everything. That wasn't too bad. All right, so any questions, there'll be a build planner in the description, which will show you the exact orders and everything that you need to know. And I hope you enjoy leveling your Sentinel from now on with this. And once you get to the right level, you can change it to whatever build you want to use. All right, catch you in the next video, guys. Peace.